Hey, welcome back to another episode of Essentially Heroes, the podcast, the movie, the everything. I'm back, Etienne, and I'm joined as always by my amazing co-host, partner in crime,
Johnny Farris, Essentially Heroes fame of Rusty Ferris wheel fame, and legal fame? No, forget that. Filmmaking is what I like to live up to. As far as the legal, I'm looking to distance myself from that world as best I can. It pays the bills, thank God, but yeah.
Eight's attorney, Johnny
Filmmaking
Farris.
and podcast.
We did an update video, an update podcast months ago, and since then, a few things have happened in terms of, Marvel and DC movies, content, all that stuff. So yeah, we're pretty much gonna be jumping back into that today, and I guess there's gonna be more people listening that know us more from the video game side of things. So if you're checking out our podcast for the first time, welcome. This is what we do. This is how the channel started, actually, as a podcast channel, and then we jumped into video games and stuff. But welcome. Thank you for your support on the gaming videos so far. And yeah, if you enjoy and you want to hear us talk and ramble on and junk for hours, then yeah, feel free to stick around, subscribe.
Stick with it, folks. That's right. We got more to come on all fronts: filmmaking, Let's Plays, podcasts. We've got video pods coming up very soon. And even on this very podcast, for the first time in a while, we've got a guest speaker that'll be joining us. So, stick with us. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, let's get to it. I know that before we were talking about sort of the impact of, the impact on the movie industry that the pandemic has had, and the theater experience just changing as a whole because of this, and it's definitely going to be different for a while. But yeah, you were talking about things on that end, right?
I was looking back over our history, our podcast episodes, and Essentially Heroes number 6, which was December of last year, way before COVID. the prospect of a pandemic at that point was hitting one side of the planet, I guess. But we spent a good portion of time on what the title of that was Marvel Update, Life of Loki, and Will the Eternals hit or miss? That might have been our most box office heavy podcast, because we spent a lot of time dicing up what could come of the box office at that point in Marvel's future. Because Marvel is the king of the superhero cinematic world. The unquestionable, undisputed, unchallenged king of the superhero film world. And whether they lose that crown or not, we don't know. But I was certainly, I had my doubts. I had my doubts at that point based on the choices that were to come. Based on the slate of movies that were to come, in the sense that they're picking two properties that comic fans really don't know, or at least I didn't know growing up. And then Black Widow, the prequel that's to come, and in that project, I'm not saying that Black Widow's now famous by way of the cinematic world, and she's also had her fans. She's had her history. She's had the comics, the cartoons to go back now for a long period of time. But at the same time, she's not as loved. She's not as revered as Thor, as Hulk. Clearly not Iron Man. but regardless, they're jumping into those properties, and those are going to be where the Marvel Cinematic world takes us.
Yeah, at this point, she's kind of like a, I guess you would say, B-list character. But yeah, given some time, I mean, I don't know how far they want to go with the character at this point, since she's, spoiler alert, dead.
Right.
But yeah, who knows? She might become more of a household name. Because think about it.
And I'm not against. Yeah, don't take my words in any way of not an opinion, not an indictment, no judgment to the character. I love what Scarlett Johansson's done with it. I love there was as you know, I'm for me. The cartoons are equally as important when it comes to the Avengers. They filled in gaps for me that the movies haven't shown us, and I love what the cartoon characters have done with her. So I'm a fan. I am a huge fan, and I loved her. There was a point when I was younger. I had a poster. I got this calendar. Like, it wasn't like a dirty calendar of Black Widow. I'm sure somebody's got that sort of thing happening now, but this was I came across this calendar of these like posters that were at I can't remember if I bought them in the comic store or something, but I had if I remember correctly, I had 2 different posters up in one of my office cubes for a long time, and one of them was this great show. If I remember correctly, it was Jim Lee was the artist, and it was Captain America, Black Widow, and Wolverine, like in the same. I wanted to go back and read where that story, read where that comic, read where that picture, read the comic where that picture came from. So, because it was so cool, and it was like, and she has like the short red hair. I mean, she's an old school Black Widow at that time. Yeah. I've always been a fan, and I love what Johansson's done with the role. I mean, she's indispensable. Like, totally steps it up, especially in Cap 2, right? Winter Soldier. So I'm looking forward to the movie, and I know I'm gonna love it. Like, I absolutely love that. I even think that aspect of the films, meaning Shield, Nick Fury, Black Widow, Hydra, Winter Soldier, Cap, all that kind of stuff, Falcon. That stuff unto itself, which I hope the TV show is going to go there with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that stuff was such a great storyline by itself that it kind of reminds me, I know you're not as big of a fan, but what the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon brought to life was this whole rich world of the clone troopers, which you didn't see at all in the movies. The stormtroopers themselves have this crazy history, you know, with multi-layer, like deep emotional shit that's happening between those stormtrooper characters.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool, and it reminded me, or Hydra and Shield and what was happening all behind the scenes, under the table, like completely shady styles. That I loved. That aspect was so cool in the Marvel Cinematic world that they brought to
yeah, because that's the thing. That was the first time where they were kind of forced to. Where they were kind of forced to take a story seriously. Which what I mean to say is that they didn't have, space, aliens, and magic and gods to rely on. Like, it literally had to be a straightforward kind of, spy story about, like, an action story.
Right. Sure.
Which they completely nailed. But yeah, when it comes to Black Widow, that's the thing. Like, that's her whole deal is espionage. Like, of course she gets into quote unquote Avengers level threats, but for the most part, I mean, you gotta respect Black Widow, man. Like she walks around and she punches people and she shoots them, and that's her whole deal, man. Like that's pretty badass, man. Like,
of course.
And it's like if people don't like that, then I mean, that's what she's got. And yeah, the movie's gonna I mean, it's not gonna reflect entirely, you know, through box office, but it's gonna reflect, you know, how people really do feel about the character. And yeah, I mean, like I said, she's a lady who shoots people. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Not much more to
all right.
Not much more to say about that. Which is really cool, I think. Like, because Hawkeye, you know, he's got to have his arrow gimmick, you know. But yeah, no, Black Widow, she's a lady and she knows what Krav Maga or whatever, and she
That's
just,
right.
Yeah, she has
kick ass.
She has pepper spray. You remember that? Remember the part from Iron Man 2? Yeah, like where she kicks a guy's ass and he gets up and she just pepper sprays him and leaves. Like, you gotta respect that
wasn't
energy.
I'm trying to it wasn't Iron Man 2 that was I watching? It might have been Iron Man 2. I'm trying to remember what. Yes, it was Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2. That's right. That's where she first is. I believe that's her first appearance.
It is, yes.
In the Marvel world.
Yes.
Okay. Iron Man 2, and I can't remember if I talked about this in the last podcast, but Tony Stark. He is Iron Man at that point. He's clearly Iron Man, but Tony Stark comes in and meets Elon Musk. Like, there's a point in a restaurant where he meets Elon Musk, and I love that because Elon Musk is kind of hailed as the closest thing that the world has to Tony Stark at this point. So
yeah,
it was cool. That was a cool little scene.
Hey, those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
You do.
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
When it comes to Black Widow, they just might put her on the map, like, big time, and then, you know, other stuff can. Because think about it, when Iron Man and Captain America came onto the scene, they were basically nobodies outside of the comic fan base. You know, like, if it wasn't Spider-Man or Batman, people didn't care.
Iron Man had nothing in the way of a comic base. No, I didn't know anybody that read the Iron Man comic at all. Captain America marginally more because there was some kind of history to it, and he was a badass, but he was well known as a soldier / badass.
Yeah.
But no, Iron Man was zero. Like, I remember getting the Marvel cards, and I used to see the comic in the comic book stores, and I was like, who is this guy? You know? Yeah, totally different, totally resurrected by Downey. So
Absolutely.
thank God, it was great. He's great.
And you know, with that, in a few years, who knows where Black Widow could end up? You know, she could become, you know, one of those new juggernauts just because of how long. Because that's more or less, I wouldn't say that's all it takes, but that's a big factor in, you know, making characters sort of stand out in the pantheon of characters is, you know, just time. It's just being there consistently, having merch out, all that stuff.
Yep.
And it's going to be a bit of a climb because, like I said, Black Widow, she's just a lady who shoots people. And, you know, you can only do so much with that in terms of, like, kids' backpacks and lunch boxes and stuff. But, you know, there's this superhero R-rated movement that's been going on, right? And I think there'll become a point where the superhero film industry is divided into sort of more general viewing. So, you know, kids, families, normies, quote unquote, all that stuff. And then the R-rated fan base, which is, you know, more for the heavy stories like Deadpool, you know, Joker, Suicide Squad, like the Lobo movie that's supposed to be coming out, that's probably gonna end up over there. So I think if Black Widow does take off, she's gonna end up on the R-rated side of that line, so that she can be up there with John Wick and all those other type of movies that just attract a different audience than the more bright superhero stuff like Iron Man and Thor and all that stuff. And that might be pretty cool, because you'll be able to go between watching, you'll be able to pick based on what you want. It'll be more room in the industry for everybody. So that'll be pretty cool. And then I guess to address the other points you were saying, so moving on to Shang-Chi. So
sure.
Yeah, that's also going to be, its own, I guess, microcosm of stuff. As far as the theater culture outside the U.S. is concerned, it's a case by case basis, I guess. But jumping back into Shang-Chi, so what's interesting about that is that for the longest time the Hollywood industry has been trying to make that moolah in terms of getting the Chinese audience, and Marvel is no stranger to doing that. Did you know that there's an extra part of Iron Man that is only available in the Chinese version? Like there's an extra piece of the movie that they shot specifically for Chinese audiences, and it has like
no shit.
And it has like Chinese characters and stuff in it.
No shit, that's cool.
Yeah, and I forgot exactly what the character is, but they added the character in there to appeal to the Chinese board of movie showing, because they have a board that picks which foreign movies will be shown.
如同我承诺过的，我修理好了 paper， 敲打了一会儿，然后我想
and yeah, so Marvel is no stranger to trying to get that China money.
Right. All right.
Yeah. So when it comes to Shang-Chi, where they'll be able to go like a little bit more all out with that, I'm not entirely sure how that will end up. It might work, it actually might not work, and this is why I say that. Here's why I say that. Mulan, the animated film that came out before, right?
Okay.
That came out years ago.
Sure.
All right.
Right.
American production, right? But it's about a Chinese mythology and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and in China they didn't like it. They didn't like the movie.
Okay.
Or I should say they were more apathetic to it, for various reasons. But it just didn't really appeal to them all that much.
What were the top two? I don't know anything about it.
The top two like complaints about it,
what do you attribute those reasons to be why the box office didn't do so well in China, I guess, or in Asia?
So, let's see. Well,
I mean, was it an American telling of a Chinese lore that was disagreed with?
That was definitely part of it. That was definitely part of it. When it came to the movie version, it's different from the actual. So the original Mulan story is a ballad. It's called The Ballad of Hua Mulan, and it's an ancient Chinese, like sort of poem, sort of like the Iliad and the Odyssey, right? and it details the epic tale of this warrior named Hua Mulan, who, you know the story, she tried to join the army to protect China from the Huns, dressed up as a man, all this different stuff. So,
Right.
but it's like a typical myth, you know. She goes around and she's like, you know, slaying people and kicking all kinds of ass. Then when it comes to the cartoon version, they couldn't really do as much. So, you know, because kids are supposed to watch it, so it's supposed to be this sort of watered down version of it. And then of course, you know, they take different liberties with the movie as well. Like they like Mushu is a made up character. Her little dragon friend, the red dragon, who's played by Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, okay, right. Yes.
Yeah, no, he doesn't exist in the original version. Yeah, that's a completely American-made character.
Who am I? Who am I? I am the guardian of lost souls. I am the powerful, the pleasurable, the indestructible Mushu. Oh, pretty high, huh?
A Japanese or Chinese film company made a movie about
like if they made a version of
famous
Robin
piece of American
Hood.
history.
Yeah, or
I'm
like
trying to think of what that could be.
Yeah, if they made like I don't know, like any like American or
Wyatt Earp, a Japanese film company makes a story about Wyatt Earp. And we're like, I don't know, Americans look at it like, wait.
Yeah, and then they
what?
they give him like a talking beaver as a friend.
Exactly. Yes. I get
and
it. Right.
It's like why? But so yeah, those were some of the main complaints, and then the other one was that they didn't think that the characters looked Chinese.
I understand.
So yeah, when it came to the, I guess, drawing style for the movie, I mean, of course we can interpret it as, you know, them looking Asian, but to them, I guess, since they weren't as used to our drawing style, they didn't interpret it as that. They just thought, why are all these white characters pretending to be Chinese or something like that? So they didn't they didn't very much connect with the art style either.
Right.
Which, I mean, for the time, that was like Disney's drawing style was very unique. Like there weren't too many other, you know, animated film franchises that really looked like that. And I mean, of course you had, you know, Japanese animation at the time, but that looked also completely different from, you know, what American animation was doing at the time. So that was like the weird tale of how this Chinese story didn't do so well over there. I don't know how the new movie went over. Maybe it went maybe not, because I think that the main actress that they chose for to play Mulan, when it was first announced that she was being cast, I think people said, like, why did you choose this terrible actress to lead your movie? Because apparently she's not that good at acting. But yeah, it's all, yeah, like that was literally, they were like, why did you choose her to act in your movie? And then yeah, I'm
being told by we're being we're being auditioned by my guest speaker here, and he informs that she can sing. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, she had.
Oh, perfect.
Speaking of the mic, we've got.
She did those parts really well. I mean, I think that, you know, right at the time that Mulan came out, my daughter was 3, and so I was being bombarded by Disney princesses, and you know, like the story was mediocre. I thought it was amusing, but
yeah,
the girl really could sing, and of all the Disney princess like songs. Like that song really, like, you know, some of her songs did really well. So, I mean, what kind of expectations should we have for Disney princess movies? You know, I mean, it is formulated.
EK, allow me to introduce you to, this is a guest speaker, a friend, and a fan of Essentially Heroes podcast. My good friend, Ben Townsend.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks for being with us.
I'm glad I popped in just in time for you guys to be talking about Mulan.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I threw it out to him earlier about Shang-Chi, and I respect my friend. I respect Ben's opinion because he's been a comic fan. I was explaining to you, EK, that when we were younger, I would go to his house and read comics and see the stuff that he had. He had more comics than I did. Growing up, I don't know if I took your comic box. I think it was PJ's. Another friend. Yeah. But I asked him about we were talking, jumping around a little bit about some of the topics that we might get into tonight, and I talked about Shang-Chi, and his response was, "Who is this?" So we were poking around, and you noticed that the comics go back to
Like 73.
that far back. So it is. Yeah, it's not Harley
But
Quinn.
it's a lame-looking character.
That's how you feel.
Yeah.
Yes, but
No, I mean, like the old comic. Like you look at the comics. I mean, he's.
well, look at any Marvel look at any character in 1973 and what they look like in the comic books compared to what we're seeing now in the way of Robert Downey Iron Man, Christian Bale.
Look at the
Batman.
picture. Pull the picture up. No, he's wearing a unitard. It's a red unitard.
So did all the X-Men. But yes, jumping back, you tell me if I'm understanding your point correctly, EK, that Mulan, at least the animated, did not do so well. Are you thinking Shang-Chi will feel this will be received the same way in the Asian markets?
So here's another thing that I discovered in my research. Okay, all right, stay with me here.
I'm with you.
So, when the casting for the movie was first announced, they announced that Simu Liu and Awkwafina. Those were the first two people that they announced to play Shang-Chi, and I don't know who Awkwafina is playing, but
Okay.
yeah. By the way, Awkwafina, she's like a she's a Chinese American. I believe she's a rapper and a comedian and actress.
Yeah, she's got that. She's got a new show on Comedy Central. I haven't seen it yet.
Yes,
I think it's
yeah.
on Comedy Central, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
New York. Yeah, she's a New Yorker too, so that's awesome.
Yeah, Awkwafina from Queens or something, right?
Yeah. So when they announced those two were cast, people in China, they didn't think that those two were attractive enough to lead the movie, pretty much, because I don't know if you guys have seen, I guess, China produce stuff, or even, I guess, Asian produce stuff in general, but usually face comes before anything else. So yeah, if sorry, what'd you say?
Cecilia Chung.
What is that?
That's probably one of the hottest actresses to come out, like, you know, early.
What's her name?
Cecilia Chung, Cheung. Like, I've never seen a hot girl with a mustache until I saw her.
Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe I have seen a hot girl with a mustache, but I remember her being really hot with a mustache.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
I
know
didn't
her, EK?
No.
And I hear what you're saying, though.
I don't.
You're so right, which makes it so absurd that, like, you know, what? It's an animated. Like, who cares? Right? Am I missing something? No, it's not animated.
No, Shang-Chi is not going to be
Right.
No, Mulan was. Yeah.
Yeah. China has had like a weird, I guess, record of doing. So, like, for example, you guys hear about that situation with like the Star Wars poster, the Chinese Star Wars posters?
No. I know a little bit about. I know that there was a backlash about that specific character who was featured heavily in the first film and then not in the last one. I forgot her name. She was Asian.
Well, I mean, just with the poster itself. So I think when the Force Awakens, that was the seventh one, right? The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens was the first one. That was the first one.
Yeah, the first of the new trilogy, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when that movie came out, so on the poster for the movie in the US, you know, all the main characters are featured pretty prominently on the poster. But then when the Chinese poster was released, the spot where they had Finn was like mostly empty, and they like shrunk him down just because like they didn't like the way that he looks. In the Chinese, and he was like one of the only people. So like there's this huge empty space on the poster where Finn used to be, and they shrunk him down, and so it just looks like weird and awkward. And so people were like, why just because like he's not even the center of the poster. But so yeah, they have like this weird way of just kind of reshaping things to fit their aesthetic. So I have no clue whether the movie will be, I guess, up to their, I guess, taste standards or not, you know. And yeah, who knows? They might dig it. They might, you know, feel like an Asian American superhero is a new thing. Or they might not. Who knows? I feel like if it doesn't do well there, it'll at least do well in South Korea, though, because
I gotta tell you,
in South Korea they actually love Marvel movies as a whole. Like like South Korea, like Japan also, but South Korea has like a very dedicated Marvel fan base over there. Like they watch all the movies, like they know all the characters. When Infinity War and Endgame came out, it's like a huge thing over there. So yeah, who knows is what I'm trying to long way around to say. Who knows? Who knows?
But wait, I'm hung up on the fact that, like, you know, so what's the difference with, in your mind, like with like the American casting? Like, isn't it like consistently the Marvel superheroes are beautiful people? You know, like, and I hear what you're saying, and I think that's valid. But I'm trying to think of a good example of when we've had really outstanding Marvel heroes that haven't been beautiful. And I guess if they, I mean, and maybe the personality makes for. I mean, if this person's also got a Comedy Central special, maybe it makes up for it.
The only, at least as far as the MCU is concerned, I can only think of Guardians of the Galaxy, where, I mean, as far as Chris Pratt is concerned, he's definitely a handsome guy, but he's a bit more on the, not average, but like he's not Chris Hemsworth, right?
Sure, but he's
that's what I mean.
He's the everyman.
He's a really good example.
Sort of, and
he's
he
still a
that was like
sex
at the beginning of his transformation from Parks and Rec to superhero. So
right,
yeah.
And even then, I mean, you saw him go from when he went from Guardians to Jurassic Park. He's all super cut, and he was like on top of the world at that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, granted, he's everyman. He's kind of like, you watch him in that. What was it? Not the intern. Where Vince Vaughn is the sperm donor for 500 kids. I forgot the name of the movie, but Chris Pratt is his lawyer best friend. It's one of my best. Yeah. One of my favorite depictions of a lawyer. But he's like a funny, like, he's got 5 kids. He's annoyed, and he's happily working for his best friend as an attorney. But he's not like the hunky Chris Pratt, you know. He's the overweight neighborly lawyer that you're like, hey, I got a problem. Like, can you help me? Like, you know,
yeah.
Chris Pratt steps in. But that is a good point. But
yeah,
I'm looking at this poster, And I'm seeing some other things here. It's not just John Boyega, Finn.
Yeah, there's like a few elements that are changed. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. They strikingly, BB-8. Understandably, I get that the Eastern Hemisphere loves robots, and BB-8 is featured as maybe as large as Han Solo, right? But Chewbacca's removed entirely. How the fuck do you remove Chewbacca from the entire? Like, you don't see him. He's not even in the poster. Do you see him?
Yeah.
I mean, Chewbacca is Chewbacca. I mean, the Star Wars would not be Star Wars without Chewbacca, and he's not in the poster at all.
Absolutely, yes.
Well,
it's
Hold on a second.
mind-boggling.
I want to go back to the Chris Pratt comment. Like, I think the Chris Pratt conversation was really interesting because going back to the Shang-Chi, I'm sorry, but going back to the Shang-Chi casting.
Yeah, please.
Concept, is that it's, Chris Pratt was this like diamond, like, he turned out to be a sex symbol even when he was like overweight because he's so charismatic. Maybe they've deliberately cast somebody that isn't beautiful because that's what the millennials are calling for. It's like maybe that's what the time is calling for. They don't want beautiful people. They want people that are really interesting and relatable and funny and charismatic. Maybe there has been actual deliberate choice in this casting. They're moving away from supermodels playing Storm, right? It's like it's maybe it's more than that. Maybe like we have higher expectations from our superheroes.
Yeah, the audience wants that.
Yeah.
That's a clear factor in driving it. Who's do you know? I have a weird question. You mentioned Lobo as a film coming out. I know I'm jumping to DC for a second, but is there a casting? Do we know? What do we know of that movie?
No, it's still in like just very early, like almost rumor phases. Like people have said that there's Lobo stuff going to happen, but there's no like director, there's no casting. I don't even know if there's a script yet. Maybe not. But yeah, that's like way off. So I wouldn't expect a Lobo announcement even probably for a while.
Right.
But yeah, if when it comes to the casting for that's gonna be an interesting thing, because like who can really play Lobo? I can't even picture that in my head.
I can't wait. This it was either this morning or yesterday. I had Justice League Action on. Justice League Action. That's the newest Cartoon Network, like 15-minute cartoon show. It's meant to be campy and cute. It's really aimed at kids, but it's funny. And there's an episode called Revenge of the Red Lanterns, and Lobo is featured in it, and Lobo's hysterical. Like, absolutely loved it.
Atrocitus, we did not take those rings. We didn't even know they were here until now.
Come on, Justice Chumps. Let's kick some Red Lanterns butt.
Yeah, he's like one of the best
the
characters.
What was that?
He's like one of the best DC characters. Like he's just so cool and fun. And he has like the best powers. It's like he can beat the crap out of Superman. Like he can do all this crazy nutso stuff. He's like Deadpool on cocaine. It's amazing.
Yeah. Lobo needs to be their Deadpool. He needs to be released. I don't know if he needs to break the fourth wall, but that's what I want to see. We talked.
No, that would be too. That would be.
EK, Etienne and I have talked about this on many podcasts, and maybe this is a good chance, a good point to take a break real quick to regroup and get into the world of DC. But Lobo is what I want to see. I want to see what DC has to offer. I know Ben's got a lot to comment when it comes to DC, but Shazam. Yeah, he's a big fan of Shazam. But when it comes to DC, I want to see the stuff that they can do that isn't Marvel. I want to see the world that they have. I want to see Lobo.
And if they made it too much like Deadpool,
of course,
it's a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it ruins it.
And
but go ahead. Sorry about that, buddy.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say that when it comes to when it comes to all of that, there's probably going to be a what's the word? There's going to be a lot of back and forth before they actually get it to a place where they feel that it's ready to be put out, because on the one hand they have to make it raunchy, but it can't be too raunchy, but then it can't be too much like Deadpool, but it also is gonna kind of be like Deadpool, and then they have to address like his power, like they have to make him powerful but not too powerful to like outshine the Justice League, and so yeah, there's gonna be, and then they also have to probably change his backstory as well, because I like, for people jumping into it, it's gonna be kind of a turnoff that he kills his entire species. Kind of just for lulz. So there's gonna be a lot of balancing out to do on that regard to make him like a dick, but not too much of a dick. That's gonna be its own special hell for everyone who's working on it.
But
I hope it turns out good.
I've got a note here from our guest, and he's wondering, as much as he knows DC, he's wondering what are Lobo's powers. And I was about to respond and say non-flying douchebag Superman. Like, am I correct? Like a Superman who can't fly but rides a bike through space and smokes cigarettes and is a bounty hunter. So,
yeah, I think it'd be quicker
he works
to
for
list.
himself.
I think it'd be quicker to list what aren't his powers.
He really can do.
It's
like
pretty
anything
ridiculous.
but fly. He can go toe to toe with Superman.
It's even beyond, like, it's truly ridiculous. Like, he can clone himself. He's immortal. Like, literally his soul is not allowed to be taken to the afterlife because it's just too nutso.
So he's a combination of Deadpool, Wolverine, Superman,
Evil Ernie.
All right.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, to list all of his abilities. It's crazy.
Well,
but
I think this is a perfect place to take a quick spot check. We will cut back to you folks in just a minute. Thank you for sticking with us, and we'll be right back on.
Yeet.
Thanks, folks, for listening to today's episode of Essentially Heroes. We are sponsored by TownsendAcupuncture.com. Townsend Acupuncture is located in Raleigh, conveniently downtown, 1520 Glenwood Avenue, Raleigh, North Carolina. You can call Townsend Acupuncture at 919-355-6567. And feel free to talk to Ben Townsend, acupuncturist. He could tell us all about why and how acupuncture is great for you.
Wow. Okay. So,
give me a real quick.
Your body is a garden. If you're not getting water and nourishment to your entire garden, your garden will wilt and die. Right. That's the beauty of the acupuncture points. Right. We can insert the needles to remove the kinks from the hose. We can get water throughout the garden, and we can get life back to the rest of your body.
And if I've got specific symptoms that might be that you could treat, I don't know, maybe I'm feeling anxious about my new job. Perhaps I've got nausea from something, some other related illness. These are things you can. Joint pain. I play basketball. I haven't played in a long time, but if I was to go play again, and I've got this pain in my knee or my back, these are things that you can help with.
You should play. You should play basketball.
Okay.
Yes. No. Absolutely. But like those are the things. Like those are the simple things, and it's funny because of the things that people will come with anxiety or sleep problems or whatever, and that's not what they're coming for. But those things get better without any problem. I mean, it's so simple that there's no reason not to take the safest, most non-invasive route first.
And that's coming to you for acupuncture.
Well, or any acupuncturist, but by all means, please come to me.
So please check out TownsendAcupuncture.com. Raleigh, North Carolina, 1520 Glenwood Avenue. At your earliest convenience. And thanks for listening, folks.
No pain is normal.
No pain is normal.
All right, yeah.
All right.
We're learning stuff on this podcast.
That's right. That's right.
I did think it's appropriate that it came out when Shang-Chi was the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me also, what do you think, or have you ever worked with like fire cupping?
Yeah, I do fire cupping all the time.
Oh yeah, he's done it on me. Oh my God.
Wow.
But I got a full treatment post-accident back in February. All kinds of stuff. The fire cup. You do fire cupping on my back.
I do fire cupping.
These are my
I do
back
wet
and
cupping,
my back and lower back. Yeah, it was great.
I don't do the full like Islamic. I mean, like I do wet cupping, but I don't like people aren't bleeding like pints. Like,
Oh, but you left me scarred with that roller. There was something specific.
no,
You
it's
were
not,
like, I forgot what it was.
Scarred, it's gone.
What, that week it was freaking red. It was awesome. It felt great.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It feels really well.
Yeah.
It's all
Wow.
about making
Okay.
it fun.
I mean, how was that process for you? Because I've never had it.
For me,
Where are you? Is he in New York?
He's in New York. Yeah.
Oh well, just like for whatever reason, just go get acupuncture. I mean, you do have to be selective. I did get acupuncture at one time when John was at work and I was stranded in Chinatown, and the acupuncturist I went to turned out to that place actually had different intentions. But there are acupuncturists all over the place up there, and there's a great acupuncture school up there. Actually, one of our sister schools is up there, and so some of the best acupuncturists in the country are in New York City.
Right.
I mean,
Wow.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, like, wait, this is not actually being.
No, that's fine. No, he's editing.
I'm just
We're
talking to
editing.
him.
Yes.
Like,
This is just us.
No, I wouldn't actually necessarily recommend looking purely for a Chinese trained acupuncturist. The acupuncturists being trained in the States are actually better trained now because in the People's Revolution they exiled all their excellent scholars, and so one of their best scholars lives in New York now, and so you actually get better American trained acupuncturists than you get China trained acupuncturists. That's my soapbox. I'm getting down now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If listen, when we get to the next level, EK, then we're gonna have a staff acupuncturist, and that will be Dr. Townsend over there. So
That would be so sick. That'd be so sick. Unlock my chakras.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want our actors.
Well, you have to get an Ayurvedic doctor then, but we could work on that.
I want our actors
at
meditating.
least drink out of a copper vessel for now.
I want our actors and crew meditating and getting acupuncture, as needed. So.
Yeah. Not forget that. I just want an iron fist.
That's right.
Actually, I can't. I'm hoping to post on YouTube. Like I have some Shaolin exercises that I teach massage therapists.
Did I tell? Wait a second. No, I said. Time out. It's funny you're saying iron fist because he actually did. You did something because my wrist in that accident it continues to. I still have pain from that. And he did something specific to my wrist that I felt like it was iron fist. I couldn't open my eyes, but I felt like my right hand was on fire. I'm like, this is awesome. I don't know what it is. It's painful. It hurts. It's on fire, but I know it's good. So,
I don't know how to give you an iron fist. I do know how to give you iron fingers. I can teach you how to put your fingers.
It felt like
through
my
a
whole
wall.
hand was Ryu. I felt like I was about to shoot a fireball out of my hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he unlocked your chakra, man. It's a feeling of power.
That's right.
Could have broke a wall if you wanted to. Yeah.
So let's jump back into DC when you're ready.
Wait, last thing. All right. So speaking
Tell
of
me,
martial
yeah.
arts, did you see the Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith?
No, neither of us have seen that.
No? Ah, man. Because there's a scene where so obviously he's in a martial arts tournament, right? Jaden Smith. And he's getting his butt kicked pretty hard by the Chinese equivalent of Cobra Kai. And yeah, he's pretty messed up. And then Jackie Chan, he like takes him into the back room, and he does some fire cupping on him, and then he's back at like fighting capacity like a few minutes later. And yeah, I wanted your take on that scene.
I wish I could pull it up right now.
We need to see it.
We need to watch it. I bet we have it somewhere.
It's pretty awesome.
I could probably pull it up on Plex.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So, welcome to the DC portion of our podcast.
This is my favorite portion.
Yes, as you know, we're like 51% DC channel. Yeah. For anyone wondering. I guess let's start at the biggest drop, I guess. So, Snyder Cut. What's up?
Yes. So we still have our guest speaker on at the moment, but cutting away because we talked about this not too long ago tonight that he has.
Because I know you guys got some hot takes on the Snyder Cut.
Well. So Ben hasn't seen Dawn of Justice, but he's got a feeling about all those movies. Generally, he has seen some of them.
Okay.
I'm super excited. But if I understand correctly, now they are going to release the Snyder Cut in the way of an HBO series where they're breaking it up into 10 episodes, 12 episodes, something along those lines. Am I understanding correct?
No, I think, or last I heard, they're just dropping the movie on HBO Max.
Oh, they're just going to put it out? They're not going to break it up in any way?
Not that I heard of so far.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the thing. For me personally, I would kind of rather if it was broken up because the movie is like 4 hours long, and I don't know if I can. I don't know. Like, I barely made it through Endgame. Like, I don't know if I could do. I don't know if I could do 4 hours of Justice League. I'm sorry, Superman.
Well, yeah, you'll be able to do it at home. I mean, it should be. You should be able to break it up at least at the 4. Right?
At home, also, it'd be too long to be watching one thing. Like I don't know how much binging I have in me.
Yes, I understand.
But
as you know, I'm not a binger.
I'm sorry. Are they going to make it epic?
So that's
League?
But yeah, when it comes.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, so for the movie, that's been one of the bigger, I guess, because obviously there are a lot of people who aren't necessarily against the Snyder Cut, but they weren't one of the people begging for it online, right? And that's one of the main counter arguments against it is if the movie had to be so long in order to tell its story, then did it really have to get made? Which is fair. I mean, even Dawn of Justice is, how long is that movie? Because that's like the
the movie's over 3 hours, I think.
Or two. It's 2 hours and something, I think.
It's long. If it's not 3 hours, it's close.
Yeah, I remember I was on a plane when I watched it, and I saw the runtime, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Like I got nowhere else to be, but damn. So, like it was a commitment. But yeah, like the theatrical version is the significantly
3 hours, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it is 3 hours. It is.
Yeah. The film is 3 hours, 3 minutes. I remember it. Because I remember walking out of that movie and thinking to myself, there was one moment of levity. There was one moment where I laughed.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for my superhero movies to be all Deadpool. I get that, but Batman vs Superman, I was like, It's so serious. It's so Snyder takes himself. He takes the characters. He takes the stories too seriously, and I still loved it. I still enjoyed it, but it is too freaking serious. So Ben,
you think Bruce Wayne running through the burning remains of Metropolis as Superman lasers a building in half?
Yeah. That's but you need to see them. You need to see You haven't seen Man of Steel. You saw Wonder Woman. So Ben hasn't seen these movies. He's seen Wonder Woman. You watched Suicide Squad, if I remember correctly.
I haven't liked a DC movie.
See, here's
so long, and I love Batman. I love Superman. I had subscriptions to the comic books when I was little.
Tell me about that. I want to hear about that because you are a fan of the comics. You're a fan of. I think you're a fan of the cartoons. I'm curious about that. But you had the comics. So tell me why Batman. Tell me why or what got you into Batman. And you were young. We've been friends since 13.
Yeah, I got subscriptions to Batman comic books. Like they were coming in the mail, like every single, and when I was little, I mean, there were like 3 or 4 different Batman series at the same time coming from DC.
Sure.
And so, I was reading all these different sections, and then there were the graphic novels that came out. With the girl Robin, like there was all this other like stuff that was going on in the Batman universe, like all these parallel like stories. But I couldn't, and so I feel like there were, the Batman movies did it justice. I had a hard time.
The Christian Bale.
No, I mean up till Christian Bale, I think I'm like Michael Keaton did fine. Like
sure.
Like Jack Nicholson was made to play the Joker, and so like but that's a different. But it's I had a hard time really grasping a lot of these other stories. But I really feel like I loved Aquaman. I had a brief subscription to Aquaman. Aquaman, like there was not Aquaman in my memory wasn't a consistent enough comic book. I don't feel like it came out. Like I feel like the series would end after a shorter amount of time where Batman just went on and on and on.
You're the only person I've ever known that. Have you, Etienne? Have you read an Aquaman comic? I've never read an Aquaman comic. I don't even know.
I love Aquaman. I still have some old Aquaman.
So I can't say that I've read an Aquaman comic all the way through. I'm relatively familiar with Aquaman stories just through, I guess, osmosis. Like comic osmosis. I'm probably more familiar with the New 52 version that came out because I just thought it was really hilarious how Aquaman was like in a diner and he ordered fish and everyone was like and
what?
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
No, that's heresy. Actually, Aquaman would not order fish.
It's fitting. Well, see, knowing Ben through friendship for decades, it's fitting that he did read Aquaman, and I never knew it because he had a mane. Ben, my friend, had a mane of hair. Like he had hair that went down to your lower back at one point, like mid back. Like he had a long blonde hair. And he did actually he kind of worshipped Fabio, I believe, because
I didn't worship Fabio.
Yeah, wild
he
Aquaman.
worshipped me
with the hook hand.
Yeah. So I can see
Hell
him
yeah.
liking Aquaman as one of the characters. So that's appropriate. But
I think that's the version they use in Brave and the Bold as well.
Yes. But yeah, going back to
like, ahoy there, Superman.
So going back to Batman vs Superman, well, Dawn of Justice. So, I mean, you tell me you liked it. I know your thoughts, Etienne, on Suicide Squad. I think we've talked about Justice League. You don't like it as much as I do. I know that. But are you looking forward to? I understand you and I both don't binge like the rest of the world potentially, but are you looking forward to the Snyder Cut, to what is to come of this serious story that's going to be, I guess, better told through the lens of HBO, like letting the original director, the directorial cut, come out in the way it was meant to be told. Which
So
you tell me.
I'm looking forward to it, but not in the way that the Snyder fans are, right? So, legend has it that this Snyder Cut is so amazing, so fabulous, so delectable that it will completely erase everything that was wrong with the theater version, and it will completely rewrite the story of these characters, and it will cast a new light on the Snyderverse. And for me, I immediately called BS, but I'm willing to watch the movie to know for certain if the Snyder Cut, if the legendary holy grail of movies, the Snyder Cut, is as magical and as world shattering as it's said to be, and that might be possible because it basically is an entirely different movie, according to Snyder, because the story that's told in it is much more expansive. Like, I believe he himself said that the theater version is like a third of what the actual story is. And they also, released the teaser image of Darkseid as well, because the movie is going to feature Darkseid. So
right,
Steppenwolf was meant to be, I don't know if he was in the original version, but he was meant to be sort of like a sub boss, and then the big boss was Darkseid, and then that of course gives new avenues of storytelling. So I'm looking forward to seeing like really how much more they had in mind and what the actual story is, and then at the end of it I'll be able to say for certain, and I think most of the fans will be able to say for certain, whether that extra I forgot how much, like $3 million that's gonna cost to finish the movie, to see if that's worth it. Right. And then we'll finally be able to put this beast to rest.
I get it.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it in that sense.
There is, as of May, I believe, I'm reading that Snyder was considering splitting it up into episodes.
Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice to do like a Justice League miniseries.
Yeah, I'm reading that, and that's also for Justice League, so I guess it would connect it too. Which, I mean, would be 6 to 8 hours of film. I mean, it's a lot that's out there and stuff that hasn't come out. I'm looking forward to it. I am absolutely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Batman. I know we're jumping here, but yeah, no, I'm absolutely looking forward to what it is. It was too dark. It did not get the levity and the fun of the Marvel movies. You didn't have James Gunn. You didn't have not even the Russo brothers. Whedon changed Justice League, if I understand correctly, a little bit. But he takes. It's not that he takes himself too seriously. He takes characters that are meant for children that are now being watched by adults. I mean, these were things that were aimed at 12 to 18-year-olds, I guess. The comic books, I don't know originally, but that's when were you getting that subscription, Ben? What age did you first get that?
I want to see this. I can't believe I haven't seen this movie before we're talking about this. Like, Justice League Unlimited was by far one of the best animated series I think has ever come out.
And
And so the idea that there's a Justice League movie coming out, and if they're trying to
No, the Justice League movie's been filmed. It went from Batman vs Superman to Justice League. Now, granted,
all right, so I got 2 kids.
Yes, I was just
I'm
about
a
to
little behind.
say. Ben's a father, and I have questions for him as a father in that respect. But one of my questions is, you're talking, it's something interesting. He's making a good point here. Justice League Unlimited is
Justice League Unlimited was by far, I think, the greatest achievement of any DC like.
I would say superhero.
television.
I would say superhero. I'd almost agree with you on superhero anime. It's up there. It's one of the top 5.
Justice League.
probably.
I think Justice League Unlimited is up there with the Avengers franchise. I think
the cinematic franchise, the movie franchise.
No, exactly.
Okay,
I think
I
Justice
understand.
League Unlimited
yeah.
is the most.
That was like the OG
there's
cartoon.
so far they can go with that. That series.
Of course.
And
there's 100 characters.
And the beauty of that series that was never really tapped into. They reached for it, but they never got it. Was the combination of powers between between like I've been talking about this for years.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Why can't they combine the powers? Like they're a team. Why aren't they playing as a team? And there were so many times there was chance for that to happen. And that's I love this idea. But the beauty of the Justice League Unlimited is the fact that the entire DC universe was present. Right? There really was no limitation to who they could bring in on that show, right? Like they could bring in these B-list players just randomly out of one episode, and I think Shazam did show up in one episode.
Of course.
If not, it was like there was some other guy that
Sure.
like there was
Shazam's heavy in it now for Young Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he's a major
I
player
think,
now.
so I love the idea that Justice League Unlimited.
You'll be happy to know that Etienne and I are we're working on a fan-based project.
Wait, is that Daredevil?
No, that's Flash. Looks the same. He's looking at a black and white picture of Justice League, the Snyder Justice League. But you'll be happy to know that EK and I are looking at some DC properties and looking to create some fan-based works. One of the considerations is Booster Gold. So
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I have a question. I have a question for Ben here. If he does love Justice League Unlimited like you do, so do I. So I believe Etienne does too. We talked a lot about Batman. And how did you feel about the Batman animated series?
It never reached expectations. Like I grew up reading, like to me, Batman had to. I know.
Wow. I haven't heard that one before.
Batman.
That's a
you
hot
got to
take.
realize, the Batman was a part of my life because I read it at bedtime alone in the dark. Like it was poorly lit. It was my own film noir like environment, right? And you can't get that at 3 p.m. And so I could never. It's like I can watch Justice League at 10 in the morning on a Saturday. I can't watch Batman at 10 in the morning on Saturday. That's not what Batman's about. Batman has to be dark. And that's what I love about Justice League is because like Justice League Unlimited, like Batman just kind of comes in and he's kind of brooding and gloomy, and then he disappears and saves the day in the end. And that was okay, like because I knew what was actually going on because I'd been reading Batman all my life, right? Like I knew all the darkness that was going on back there, and so like, but the Batman series never really appealed to me for that reason. Like it was like, I think it to me, it never really easily transferred to TV because it lost the darkness. Like it really, like they've, and I think that they tried to make it even darker by making it more gruesome or more violent or whatever. But it wasn't about the gruesomeness. It was about the noir. Like it was about the literal darkness and the quiet.
Yeah. It's just fascinating. I think you're missing out in part. Well, you're definitely missing out on that series. The series was incredible. The series is widely hailed to be the best Batman property that's not on the comics. That's fine. I mean, you tell me. That's the end, except for maybe the Nolan Batman series. But
when it comes to with the Batman animated series, I think that a lot of people remember it for all the unexpected turns that it would take, like how unflinching it was for its demographic. So they didn't shy away from Joker throwing Harley out of a window to plummet to her doom. They didn't shy away from Jason Todd being completely like mentally broken as a Joker puppet. Like they didn't like it. It was obviously meant for that demographic, but it also didn't shy away from, I guess, the source material of Batman, really. But another point I wanted to. Sorry.
I think that was kind of the point. It was that they were limited by.
They were censored,
television.
but they were censored. But they pushed the limits. They pushed the limits. That show.
But I think that was where they were trying to find where to push the limits.
You're saying the show was on weekdays at 3 o'clock. I think there was a point when it was on in the afternoons, but it started on Saturday morning at 11. It started at Saturday. It was Saturday morning cartoons. I'll never forget it. It was 1989 when I first started watching that.
Because that was probably the only place that they could really get airtime for a long time. Because I don't think the network would really allow them to put on the cartoon, at 9 in the evening when all the kids are going to bed. So they were kind of stuck. But I think after the initial run of it, then they could put it on for the older teenagers who were up later at night. They would stay up watching Cartoon Network and stuff like that, and they could just watch the series as it was intended, as not as Saturday morning viewing, but as just another piece of media. But also, going back to Justice League Unlimited, I think with that they kind of flipped the script a little bit, because you guys probably remember in Justice League Unlimited, Batman was expanded upon a lot in that show. Like, dude is he's almost not a completely different guy, but you see so many more sides of him and what he can do. Right, so like that scene where Cheetah has him tied up, and then you just see Bruce start to work his magic, and then by the end of it, she's like telling him all his problems, and then they like start making out.
I remember that.
You remember that scene, right?
Yes, of course, yeah.
How do you know so much about me?
Let's just say cats aren't the only ones who are curious.
Too much curiosity can be dangerous.
Maybe I like danger.
Do you?
Try me.
Oh yeah, he's kidnapped. Batman's kidnapped, and every single villain has a few minutes with him. Everybody of the Injustice League, I forgot who it was, what team that is.
Yeah, I think the Legion of Doom or something has him, and then they have, so you get to see that side of him that you wouldn't see on the Batman animated series.
Sure.
And then you get to see him messing around with there's, I think there's a scene where I think Green Lantern is asking him what he thinks about Wonder Woman, in terms of dating, and you get moments like that where you just really get to see more of the character, and I thought that was pretty awesome, and that's across the board with all the characters, because it's not just them dealing with all these world-ending threats and punching villains and all this, using their superpowers, is also them just being people as well. And we definitely talked about this before, but the scene where that girl from the Royal Flush Gang, she's dying, and Batman, he just sits next to her and holds her hand. Yeah.
The episode known as Epilogue was one of the greatest cartoon properties of all time. That single episode. Where did I want to jump to? There was Yeah, tell me.
So speaking of Batman, so this is what I wanted to bring up to you.
Tell me.
Before. So I don't know if you heard about this, but Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I have. Yes, of course.
Okay, what do you think about him coming back as Batman?
So he's...
Wait, what?
So Michael Keaton is supposed to reprise his role of an older Batman in the... This is in the Flash series? In the Flash TV series?
I think the Flashpoint movie.
Are they trying to give Robin...
It's going to be the Flashpoint movie? They're doing a Flashpoint movie? This I didn't understand.
Yeah, I believe the Flash movie that's coming out is going to be Flashpoint.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, which is hinted at in Batman vs. Superman, I believe.
Yes. Batman vs. Yes.
Because you see him coming through the Speed Force tunnel to warn Bruce.
Yes. And if there's an interesting point about that where, I don't know if we've talked about that, but this is another movie you don't know about here, but we're talking about the same movie. But in that scene, Bruce is dressed as Batman. It's my favorite iteration of Batman, where you've got Batman in the Batcave without his cowl. Hold on one second. EK, we're gonna pause for one moment, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah. All right.
I don't actually know why you didn't tell me to watch this movie before I came.
I didn't know we were going to get into it. It's okay. All right, so jumping back in.
But I have something to say.
Yeah. That scene is interesting because Batman's in the Batcave. He's looking at the computer. Flash comes through the screen. He's doing the Speed Force thing. And the movie watches as if Bruce Wayne fell asleep at the computer, and then he wakes up and he had a dream about the Flash, right? But if I understand it correctly, that's not what happened. It was Batman never takes naps. That's impossible. And B, it is exactly what you're saying. The Flash is coming through in that moment of the Flashpoint. You've seen Flashpoint Paradox, haven't you? The animated film? You haven't seen that. I don't know if you've seen that. I don't think he has. But yeah. But
you got to.
Yeah, no.
I may have.
So,
I don't think it.
I have another point about that. But as far as Keaton, I'm okay. I'm okay with it as an old Batman. I just, as you know, I loved Affleck's Batman, and I would have liked it to maintain him in that role as he's just gotten older and older. Could Keaton do it? As far as I'm concerned, Keaton can do anything. He did The Vulture. He did Birdman. He did Multiplicity. And he did
what is his
the original
role?
Batman.
What is his proposed role in the if he's coming in as if Michael Keaton's coming in as a mentor to another generation, then I think it'd be perfect, because I think Michael Keaton plays that role so well.
Sure.
But
is that it? Am I understanding that correctly? That he is an old retired Batman that's coming into that's being called upon to consult, have some sort of consulting capacity to what's happening in the world.
Well, that's the thing. There's no set there's no set storyline for it. It's kind of just in general, would people want to see him come back as a Batman in some capacity? And so that's the thing, when it comes to Flashpoint, he might end up playing not Bruce Wayne but Thomas Wayne.
That's right. That would be fucking cool. Oh,
yeah, because that's the thing about
that doesn't fit the timeline.
No, it's not. You're not understanding Flashpoint. Thomas Wayne is the old. Thomas Wayne is the Batman.
Right. So the thing about Flashpoint Paradox is it's a separate. So Flash goes back in time to stop the death of his mother, and then this sets off a kind of a domino effect of different events being changed. And one of the events being changed is that in the alleyway, in Crime Alley, it's not Thomas and Martha Wayne that get shot. It's Bruce Wayne that gets shot dead, and then Thomas Wayne goes on to become Batman, and then Martha Wayne goes on to become the Joker.
With a gun. Batman with a gun. It's not Tom.
Yes, he kills people. Yes.
It's Batman, like Batman/Punisher together in a doctor. Like, it's very cool.
Judge Dent was kidnapped last night. Where did the Joker take him?
Even if I did know, it wouldn't do you any good, Bats. He's probably already dead.
Then so are you.
Yeah, he freaking kills people. Yeah.
Yeah. Flashpoint is very, very cool. Here's there's another bit of rumor that I've read that if Keaton doesn't come through because he hasn't confirmed, or I don't know what the negotiations are. I don't know what if maybe DC's just doing this to build up the buzz. Have you heard about Bale? Bale seems to be their fallback strategy if Keaton doesn't come through.
That would be interesting.
Yes, imagine that. So Christian Bale, your favorite Batman, at least your favorite cinematic Batman, Ben, would reprise his role as an older Batman.
But
possibly.
But no, I see. Like Christian Bale I think Christian Bale could still play Batman.
Oh yeah, he can do anything.
And
totally.
Like Michael Keaton. definitely could not play
hence
Batman.
Why he could be Thomas.
Michael Keaton could barely play Batman. Like, I think he did a good job then, but at that point he was kind of aging.
Well, did you see the Spider-Man movie? Did you see Spider-Man 1? Yeah, the new Spider-Man Homecoming.
Well, I'm not a good person. I fell asleep. I actually have a subscription to Spider-Man. Oh my god, I've become that person.
It's like,
I read the book,
and
I didn't like the movie. Like, it was the comic book stuff.
Blasphemy.
I'm glad he's actually here on the pod instead of me recanting this moment at a later podcast, that he can actually say, like, because we talk, Batman animated series and Justice League and every iteration of Batman animated is on the podcast every week. Every podcast episode that we do.
You talk about Justice League Unlimited?
We talk about Batman. We talk about Batman / Batman animated. Kevin Conroy. The two characters who come on this podcast most frequently by me are Kevin Conroy Batman and John McClane. I try to weave in Die Hard 3 at some point into the podcast. So inadvertently. Yeah. So I'm waiting. There was a combination. We did something. I can't remember how we talked about Batman featuring into the Die Hard 3 movie at some point, into New York at that point. But yeah, I'd be ecstatic about seeing Keaton. He's old enough to play. Now you've got me excited. Thomas Wayne.
How old is Michael Keaton?
Oh, whatever it is, he can do it. Whatever it is.
He's like 60 something.
Does he still?
Almost
does
70.
he still?
He's still.
I mean, is he still Is he still? I mean, I'm not saying he can't act anymore. I just haven't heard anything that he's doing.
Well, you haven't seen the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
movie
he's doing stuff.
He played the Vulture.
All right. Oh wait, no, I did. Okay.
You did see that. Okay, good. He saw it. Thank God. So yes, he's a fantastic, working, awesome actor even now. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, and
just to make sure
he's still at the school.
He's 68 years old.
Sinister eyebrows.
He's a kicking ass. 68 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm excited. I'm certainly excited about that. Yes. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
So who would play the Flash?
Who do you?
Still Ezra Miller.
The same character.
The kid from the show.
No, he was in the movie.
Well, because it's supposed to be Ezra Miller still, right? For if it's going to be a movie.
Right. Yes. Ezra Miller. Yeah, the same kid from the movie, from the Justice League.
Yeah.
See, the thing,
that,
and Flash was part of what made Justice League Unlimited so great was because his character was
agreed, but
comedic value was so
Ezra Miller brings
priceless.
the comedy in Justice League, in the Justice League film.
Yeah,
he does. Jason Momoa brings it as well, but there's
nothing funny about Aquaman. And that's why Jason Momoa.
You haven't seen the Justice League film. You haven't seen the Justice League film.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the first 30 minutes.
What? Ben did not like the Aquaman film. He didn't like the Aquaman.
Oh man, I love that. I love the DC EU Aquaman because I just love how much of a bro he was.
Yeah, you're the only guy.
It's because you didn't read the. No, he was so serious. He was a Greek god. He was always serious. He never. He didn't crack a smile. Like he just saved the world with the ocean.
Greeks and Canadians, and if there's an Atlanteans.
In live action, it doesn't work as well.
Did you hear what I said, Etienne? Atlanteans didn't read Aquaman comics. That's how frustrated they were. You're drinking a beer? Oh, by the way, we've had some excellent bourbon over the course of this podcast. I'd like to feature. What are we drinking?
Quarter
oak. Yes, an outstanding bottle. So he's of all the people for the last few podcasts, I haven't opened a beer because we've been remote. But that is a functional moment in the podcast early in where the beer opens. It's that sound, right? And here you are.
Oh, I was trying to be so quiet.
You couldn't get it from me?
Let it rip.
And by the way, this is also our latest recorded podcast. We're easily close to 2 a.m. on this one.
Because we had to wait till my kids would finally go to sleep.
Yes. That's right. But tell me, anywhere else? Oh, you know what, Etienne, give me if you can. We've got a guest fan here. Give me a fight. We have a segment at the end of almost every podcast where we either cast a member of the respective movies, the comic books that we love, somebody who's been cast already, someone who hasn't been cast already. I would love to cast Booster Gold, but tell me, Etienne's very good at pitting characters against each other. So give me a world matchup here that we could use some guest fill in on.
Okay. Let's see. Say Booster Gold versus Blue Beetle.
Oh.
Who?
Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's got...
Did you just plug this into some AI? Like, what were you doing while you were gone?
Because I figured since they're like best friends,
he's got a matchup bot.
Interesting to see, yeah.
Does he have like a head thing?
Yes, he's got that bug. He's got an alien bug on his back that, like, he's kind of like Venom. He's DC's like younger Venom because it's a parasite. That's
the thing. Like, and
they're both
that's such a valid point.
They're both aliens. They're both from different planets. Right?
You guys need to have an entire episode about what you just said. That this is the biggest flaw in the whole DC universe? Is that we can all say he is the DC version of
That's not true. But Marvel's got the same thing. Marvel has characters that came right after.
It doesn't matter. Marvel claimed it better.
I like Blue Beetle.
It depends on the character.
Fair enough.
Like some characters, DC steals from Marvel. Some Marvel steals from DC.
Yeah. It's all over the place.
I mean, both of them know what's up too.
No, there's no question. But like as far as like in the movies, like, you know, DC has Batman.
I'm gonna say that Booster Gold plays with Blue Beetle, doesn't really take him seriously.
What are his what series is he even from? Like, who is this guy?
He's Young Justice. Right now he's Young Justice, right? Blue Beetle?
What was his first appearance?
The animated. I mean, he's been in the comics for quite a while. I mean,
But from what? Like, who was he battling in the beginning? Like, who was he the first? Like, where did he show up?
Let's see. It wasn't Teen Titans. It was like part of the whole. Because I know he was in the Justice League for a while. The original Blue Beetle.
So he was a Justice League villain, like it ultimately, like, you know, or he that's where he hit big time, like Justice League villain.
So he started 1939 from.
Wow. He goes that far back. That's awesome.
Mystery Men Comics. That's the original. Let's see.
He's that far back, which means he predates Venom.
Wait, he's that. Well, actually, I have the first Venom.
There you go.
Actually, I had a subscription to Spider-Man too.
Because you were born in 1939?
No.
Yeah, obviously. Thanks.
Yeah.
Venom's not.
I mean, the most popular version of him though is from the Teen Titans. So so he's probably fighting like Slade, like Deathstroke, and freaking Dr. Light and stuff.
I'm gonna jump around here. Do you mind, since our guest here doesn't know Blue Beetle that well, and I don't even know if I know Blue.
Yeah, we can switch up the matchup.
I don't even know Booster Gold's powers.
Do you know Teen Titans? What do you know about Teen Titans?
I do. I watched Teen Titans more than you did. What do you mean? 100%. You watched the kiddie one now with your
That's
kids.
what I'm talking about.
No.
Is there a different one that I'm missing?
Yeah, the original Teen Titans.
Because the
was
one
like,
that's on there drives me freaking crazy.
No, you're missing out. The original Teen Titans.
When did
You
that
don't know
go?
the original Teen Titans cartoon?
He's not even there. But hold on. There's hold on. I'm gonna give you a matchup, and I'm gonna cross worlds. All right? Because we just mentioned something, and it made me think of something. Beast Boy, right? Beast Boy, like at his prime, like Beast Boy on the verge of like he's Beast Boy bar mitzvah, like he's about to become a man, and versus Venom.
I'll look at that.
All right, where do you go? Guest speaker, tell me where. Tell me who wins that matchup. And mind you, Beast Boy is like he's a teenager, can't control.
Yeah, that's what I'm
his
saying. Like
powers.
he needs to be younger. But no.
Well, let's hear it. But it's Venom is also Venom. The Venom we know. The Venom you and I grew up reading those comics where he is a ruthless.
No, wait, who's playing
he's a
Venom
killer.
now? Like,
Forget about the actors. Just look at the characters.
Well, what am I looking for? What do you
Who wins?
Me?
Who wins?
Huh?
Venom versus Beast Boy. Venom just broke into something innocuous, something important, and Beast Boy realizes, oh snap, Venom is in that bank. I gotta step in.
You know why Beast Boy wins?
Tell me.
It's because in the end, Venom still has a conscience. Like in the end, I think Venom still has a conscience.
Oh, Beast Boy lets his teenage rage.
No,
come
I
out?
think and I think in the end,
it turns into.
I think Beast Boy lets his teenage rage like take over, and he starts kicking ass, and it's a fair fight.
What is?
But in the end, I think Venom has a conscience. And
what does Beast Boy turn into to beat Venom?
Yeah, because Venom is pretty broken. Like he can catch bullets and freaking stronger than Spider-Man.
He's fast. He's strong.
I don't know of an animal that's stronger than Spider-Man.
Like Carnage. Now Carnage.
No, you're jumping around. No. This isn't Carnage.
Venom still had
a conscience. But I get it. But tell me what construct? This is not a construct. It's not Green Lantern. What animal does Beast Boy turn into to beat a venomous giant? What football position did he play? Like, what was he?
Well, you know what my brother-in-law's mom always said. It's better be an octopus than a cow. So we don't actually know what she meant by that.
So it turns into some sort of an octopus?
I don't know. No. My first thought was like a grizzly bear. Like I feel like like the size and the teenage like
strength,
the drive, the madness, and that's when Venom is like, there was that moment of clarity. But no, I think I like the octopus idea better.
Octopus versus Venom. What do you think? What do you think, EK? I'll throw this.
But you know what's funny about that is that I'm not the first person to have that thought. Actually, like I think that somebody back in the freaking 40s had the same thought when they created with Doc Ock, and I'm just like,
sure.
We have to find the appropriate response to somebody that can shoot webs, right?
Yeah. What do you think, EK?
Yeah, that's I've never heard that matchup before, so I'm still trying to like process.
The grizzly octopus is what that's where the grizzly octopus.
Well, but now you're
why not
for like a half?
No,
I mean it's like this amalgam of
right. So Ben's hitting on something interesting. If
man, I mean, who knows? Like the symbiote might just like Beast Boy better. Be like, I can turn into whatever animal I want. Forget Brock.
Cool.
He just leaves him.
The The Venom symbiote is like, all right, I'm sorry, Eddie Brock. I could turn into an octopus, a bear.
Yeah, could you imagine that? Venom Beast Boy? Can you imagine how terrifying that would be?
That's
can turn into literally anything.
In my understanding, that would be your win. Your win is Beast Boy because the symbiote leaves Eddie Brock. And then Eddie Brock kind of wins too because he becomes Eddie Brock. So
no, but then no.
He gives up.
Beast Boy's too innocent. He can't be.
He doesn't. The symbiote doesn't care.
But
yet again, by the way, another film you haven't seen, another movie you haven't seen.
What?
Venom.
You're right. And actually, I did want to see that one.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome.
Actually, that's in my list. Actually,
it's I'm very excited about the sequel. We spent a lot of time on it.
We should spend more time on Disney princess movies. I can go in great depth.
All right, we can do it at another point.
We definitely do need to spend a lot of time deliberating. And then while we were talking about that, then if Beast Boy was to be in a matchup, I would have gone Beast Boy versus Vixen, since she also has animal powers.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so she can channel the powers.
I love the Venom matchup. I want Venom. I want that. I wish we could film that. If we had the sci-fi capabilities, I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, there's just so many weird questions to explore when it comes to these characters. That's what I love about it.
Yep. But I think at this point we are at the tail end. This is a typical Essentially Heroes podcast. We're nearing the 2-hour marker.
It was a very fast 2 hours as well.
Yes, and the beer is empty. So thank you again, folks, for sticking with us. We've got this is the third of 3 remote pods that we've done since the beginning of COVID, and now that the pandemic is coming to an unsuspecting close. Not really.
What? You know something the rest of us don't know?
Well, Etienne and I are going to be doing a full. We are doing an in-person video podcast coming soon.
Got that classified information.
Yes, Etienne and I are going to be in person live video podcasting with gas masks on, like a full Batman movie, I imagine. So yeah, we'll be doing that very soon. Back in New York in the next few weeks.
Yes, we absolutely will. And until then, keep rocking with us on the podcast and game fronts. We're gonna be still trying to do this more often, so we're gonna try and come up with a more solid casting schedule,
right?
Once we're in the new space. So yeah, we'll keep y'all in the loop about that as well.
All right.
So yeah, with that said, thanks for listening. Thanks again to our super special guest for bringing us knowledge. Yes, thank you.
Thanks for being part of the Essentially Heroes. Appreciate it.
We laughed, we learned. It's a great episode.
All right. Signing off, Johnny Farris. DK, we'll see you soon in New York, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See you soon.
All right, brother.
All right, take care, guys.
Later. Bye-bye.